Dear Melissa, how can a product manager make a significant impact when an IT company wants to re engineer a legacy mainframe solution into a cloud native digital product, especially when IT thinks they already know everything? All right, so this is a really common scenario that I have run into quite a bit. A lot of time we treat a cloud migration like a IT project or an engineering only project. And that is where I see them crumble. They just go to hell. It's happened so many times. Can't even count on both hands how many times I've seen this happen. Why does this happen? One, we're not thinking about the outcomes. A lot of times we go, hey, let's just move to the cloud. When you move to the cloud, there are more costs usually associated with it than when you have something that's on prem. And you have to take that into account. So the cost of actually servicing your products now is much higher. But cloud does offer a bunch of benefits. So, what are we trying to get out of the cloud migration? We can actually track product usage a lot better. So, we know now if people are adopting our products, if they're using it. We can also iterate and deploy that back to a lot of people in a seamless manner instead of trying to do updates in roundabout ways like we used to with legacy mainframes. There's a lot of benefits to this cloud architecture. It allows us to have multiple points of failure in a lot of different ecosystems so that we're not just reliant on one location. Hopefully, a large company isn't reliant on one location. But if we start modernizing and thinking about cloud, what we really want to recognize with our products is that product experience becomes much more important when we move to the cloud. And it becomes possible to do a lot of things that we weren't able to do before when we were working on a mainframe infrastructure. So, when you're approaching this, though, you have to know what your objectives are and you have to know where the value is. To move something off a legacy mainframe, especially in a really large company, it's not going to be a one and done thing. It's usually approach where you carve out pieces and you start migrating them to the cloud and you're trying to figure out where to start. As a product manager, you can come in here and help them figure out where to start. I would start with things that are critical for our users and especially things that we might want to update or modernize. So, this is also a perfect opportunity where you can rethink your UX as you move to the cloud. You don't have to do a one for one transfer. You might be able to harness a lot of stuff that you did not have on your legacy mainframe. So, I would approach this as how can we rethink some of our products and our critical products when we make this move? And what might we do to take the things that we have and re architect them and release them in a cloud approach instead of just copying it one for one? This can give you a leg up. This can actually help increase a lot of business metrics here. But if you're not approaching the migration with that mindset, a lot of times what we're doing is just duplicating one from a mainframe up to the cloud. It provides us a lot of opportunities to get in there and actually update our products, make them better, make them more usable for our customers, get us better data on how people are using it. And if we're not taking advantage of that in a transformation, you're losing a lot of the value here. So that's where product management becomes really important. So what you can do is take a step back, try to figure out why are we moving to the cloud? Do people recognize the significance of moving to the cloud? We got costs incurred here, but we get all these upsides. All right, with those upsides, what can we do to further our business goals and carve out pieces to move to the cloud instead of just trying to do it all at once? What are places where we can release to the customer and provide value? Now, if you don't handle this well, you also have churn risks, right? If you don't onboard people to the cloud because you're going to need them to adopt those products and move over to the cloud, if you mishandle that or things go down or things start breaking and it's clunky and it's weird, people are going to get upset. So there's churn risk. You want to manage the risk here. You want to manage the long-term vision of what you're doing to go to the cloud. You want to make sure people understand why you're moving to the cloud. You want to make sure that there's value metrics associated with it. And then you want to see what you can do to leverage and provide better customer experiences along the way. That's going to make people really excited about this switch. And that can also help bump up a lot of your product metrics and your company metrics in turn. So I hope that helps and good luck with your migration. Again, if you have questions for me, go to dearmelissa.com and let me know what they are.